What is up, LC heads? So, we've been given a little bit of information, obviously, because part 2 of the collab is coming soon. So we've actually got a chance to take our sneak peek at Crow and Violet. Yeah. And the community's talking about them. To me, before we even get them, just by looking at, what they've shown us, they're interesting for sure. I'm glad they're not just, here's some buffed up heroes. These actually appear to have, their own mechanic. One of the things I've been talking about doing something with a counter build, or just seeing what you can do with counter, an advanced counter or improved counter, whatever it's called. And apparently Violet's all about that. She has a like a trait that is just all about that. So that was interesting to me. And then we have, what's his name? Crow. Well, some people are saying he kind of looks like weak sauce. Not exactly my words, but the way I'm looking at it, because I've seen him compared to Joker a lot. Like, well, they kind of have a lot of the same things going. It's just that, Joker is going to do better at this. The thing is, we all have to remember, Joker is locked into Dark Element. And yes, he does have a way of cutting that. He's going to ignore 50% of your resistance. But, I mean, if I'm going into something that has 40 resistance to Dark, and he ignores half of it, cool. I'm still going to have to deal with the 20% dark resistance that remains, and his damage is going to be cut from that. So it's like they built in a little bit of a Trisla pistol for him. I think that goes a long way, right? But when trying to compare them, we do have to remember that Crow is straight up non-elemental, so he doesn't have to worry about any resistances. His damage is always going to get through. It's one of the things everybody absolutely loved about Rimuru. So that is a huge factor here. The girl, what's her name? I think she does holy damage. So we have a dark damager, Joker. We have an earth damager, the cat. We have a light element named Violet. And of course, Crow is no attribute. So I think that can't be overlooked, right? So he's going to go a long way with just that. But what's interesting about Crow is this is one of the real first non-critical damage build characters that we're really seeing, where I think 40 or 50% of his damage is locked behind giving up your ability to do crits. So I think that's cool because it's something different. It is definitely something different. The big thing is obviously going to be Proud Force and things of that nature. They proc off of crits. So if you can't crit anymore, you can't use Proud Force anymore. At the same time, I've been thinking about it a little bit, right? By taking crit out of a kit completely, I mean, you're probably saving some SC, because, I don't know, crit 3 is what, 7 SC? And you can just use that for other stuff, and you're going to get a pretty huge, damage boost. So as long as you have an actual healer there, maybe the cat or something, I think it could still be a very viable character as far as getting him healed. We're all going to have to see how it goes, but at least it's something different. They're taking a stab at it from a different direction, in my opinion. Right, between the girl having some kind of counter thing you can do with her, which, hey, that might be something pretty awesome for Arena, for your defensive team, right? You set up a character that has some kind of killer counter ability, and when the enemy smashes into you, she can throw that counter and maybe buy your team a little bit of time to retaliate. We'll have to see. We will have to see. But counter sounds very interesting to me, just to mess around with, just to see how it is. She is also the big waifu in this collab. So I think a lot of people are going to be going for Violet. And Crow, yo, if people, don't want to give him any credit, then I guess they're going to pass up on him. But just remember, he is a non-elemental damage character. Most people always have their eye out for something like that. I think that's why Rimuru was so successful. So we'll have to see who everybody goes for. Number one for me is going to be the Arc. I want the Arcs, damn it. I straight up want the Arcs. I am, I don't know, 10, 20 pulls away from pitying the Part 1 Arc. So I would like to pull the Part 2 Arc before I do anything else and get the Arcs locked down. Part 1 I think is just nifty because of the, it's adding to backstab damage. And there's a lot of characters that don't have something like that built in, and you can give that to them, and hey, getting 50% more damage on top of whatever other backstab stuff you put on a character. That can go a long way for bosses, for all sorts of stuff. So, that, and I'm tired of being out of gold. Zell, right? So, Gold Find 2 would be nice to have for this account. I ain't gonna lie. So I just think it's a nifty arc. I haven't even looked into what the other one's all about. But I definitely want the Part 1 arc. We're gonna go ahead and pity it, as I'm sure we're going to have to. Or with my luck, we'll pull it on the last freaking pull we have to do to pity it. I'm surprised they don't put any Part 2 tickets in the Part 1 pity. Just in case you clear that pity list on your last pull. And now you're like, cool, I have 200 of these medals that I can't use now. You should be able to get a Part 2 10 pull ticket or something like that. Just, for Part 2 of the collab. I think that would be cool. I think that would work out well. Just IMO. Maybe they'll do something like that. But as it stands now, that's a no-go. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to see what that arc's all about and what we can do with it. And I'm just going to keep grinding away until all that stuff drops. Best of luck to everybody. Let me know if any of the Part 2 characters excite you. I'm still pretty damn happy with Joker and the Cat, right? Any of these characters are going to bring that nasty-ass special debuff to whatever party you put them into. So having just one of these characters in a party is going to be pretty damn awesome. It's going to do something good for your account for sure. Even if you just have the Cat, you can bring the Cat, get that debuff off on a boss or a nasty single target, something that you're going to have a hard time with. Like I said, any of these characters are going to be great for just some boss slaying stuff. And overall, I think it's a pretty cool collab so far. Now, who knows? They could be terrible characters when they actually drop tomorrow. I'm going off of, what I've seen from the last Claudia video that they dropped, where they actually show these characters. I mean, we see how many hits their little combos are, what their animations look like. That's cool. And then they actually give us a peek at their traits, so we can kind of start getting an idea of how these characters will be. And from that, this is what stood out to me. Violet has the interesting counter stuff in her kit, and to me, that makes her look tasty, right? And then we have Crow, who has this no critical niche, but he's doing non-attribute, right? So we will just have to see, but he's kind of being compared to Joker, and yeah, I think if you're even close to doing what Joker's doing, but you're non-element, hey, that's pretty awesome, because you're going to be super applicable. All right, we'll see how the no crit thing goes. I do have to mention though that on the flip side though, when you are stuck into an element, you can also take advantage of that. If something is weak to an element, well, then you're going to be doing more damage already, which is something that non-elemental characters just can't do, right? They're always going to be hitting that 0 resistance. They're never going to be hitting a negative 20 like, you know, like Joker can. If you take him to the right fight and you're fighting something that is just super weak in a negative value for that element, then obviously Joker's going to do absolutely killer, right? But on the other hand, if we have one of these fights like we did with that bird, where you pretty much had to have the Trisla pistol, if you were bringing any sort of elemental damage to it. I know it was a while ago, maybe some people won't remember, but this thing had a 200 resistance to everything. I think one of the resistances was like 180. Yeah, Trisla pistol was like a must for fights like that. Crow's going to be able to go into a fight like that and still do damage, right? Because he doesn't have to deal with any of that elemental nonsense to begin with. So it all depends on how you look at it. It all depends on what you have in your account. If you're already sitting pretty with Rimuru, right, and you know, anybody else that's doing non-elemental damage and you feel like you got it covered, well, then you really don't have that much to worry about. If it's something that your account needs, it might be a good one. Might be a good one. We will have to see, but best of luck to everybody, and especially me. I need that arc luck, baby. I need that arc. So we'll have to see how these characters are. I can't wait. Hopefully we can pull at least one of them after we get the arc when they drop, and I will try to do like any videos I can just so we can kind of see what their kits are all about. Crow also did have, yeah, I think it was Crow. Crow also has like a plus 20% to his SCT, so he comes super hasted. I think I did see something on there that looks like it stacks another 20% on top of haste, so that his kit will be charging faster. You know, that and the non-elemental he's doing. So it might be pretty cool. He might just be able to just go through his kit crazy and, you know, recharge everything. We're going to have to see how he actually runs. We're going to have to see how fast his kit charges, right? And also, you know, what the cooldowns are for their abilities, which a lot of times these quick little videos don't really show you. What were those? There were 2 characters that we had that have like the fastest charging S1 ever. They damn near drop back to back. Regardless, those charge times are so low that if you put skill charge 1, you instantly start the fight with like 2 S1s fully charged. So if there's anything like that going on, that would be cool. But it already looks like Crow is just going to be able to charge his kit very quickly. I know 20% more doesn't sound like that much, but you know, on top of haste and all that stuff, I think it'll make a pretty huge difference. Oh yeah, some people were talking about like, oh, why didn't they give him dual wield? I think he has 2 proficiencies with weapons, so he's going to get a buff to using this weapon or this weapon. So it's like, why didn't they give him dual wield so he could take advantage of both of those? I guess they wanted to make us pay for it. They feel that he's strong enough already where he is. People were talking about taking that damage buff off of, not buff, but that ability that gets rid of criticals and adds, you know, 40-50% more to your damage. People were talking about just taking that off and still running him with Proud Force and stuff like that. I would personally be hard pressed to do that, because I feel like comparing that to another character now, if I take that ability off, I'm just running a character with less abilities. You know, it's like that thing just gets completely wasted, right? And then you do have to build up your crit so that you can actually proc Proud Force and get some healing off of it. I don't think the guy's going to have a high crit to begin with, so you really are going to have to spend some SC just to buff up his crit. so that Proud Force will work here and there. I don't think it's going to be worth it. I think, because a lot of the roguelike characters and characters that use crit in their build, they're going to come with, crit up 3, crit up 2. They're going to come with some of the crit up abilities, and I don't think this guy is. So we really will have to see with Crow and how viable this extra damage is. But it's interesting. It's given me a lot to think about. But ultimately, I think I'd be hard-pressed to turn that off and just take that loss. Because that's just like, how many SC is an ability like that worth? Right? It's like taking one of the major abilities off of your character and just, well, he just doesn't have that anymore. I think that really hurts the character, comparing it to another character that can actually utilize their whole kit and doesn't have to take a loss like that. So that is just IMO so far until we actually get to see these characters run. So I guess the content creators for Last Cloudia have some work ahead of them, because we definitely have a lot to process in a short while. So again, best of luck to everybody, and my best arc luck to me, please. I need it. Later, everybody. Yeah, let me know who you're excited about from part 2, or if you're just happy as hell with your part 1 characters. If you got your Psycho Cat, who is a boy, by the way. Okay, I can't even say it's a boy. It is, the spirit of humanity, so of course it's going to be a cat. No, it was all explained to me, but for the record, I was right, because I'm pretty sure I called it a he and a she and an it, so I've referred to the cat as everything. All right, later, folks.